for Tommy Robinson, England would have been down the tube a long, long time ago.
When a figurehead such as Tommy Robinson is arrested, sentenced, and thrown in jail in a matter of hours, people feel that they need to speak up. To make matters worse, there was a complete media reporting ban declared in the UK, so the public cannot be informed. This is a clear example of why this movement comes out in support of freedom of speech, and why people got together today in Sydney and in great numbers in Melbourne, up to 250 people.
This is Melbourne, Australia. We stand with Tommy. Don't be afraid to show it on your wall in your name.
Yesterday there was a petition.
If I'm honest, on a work day I was not expecting that sort of a turnout. I think there were roughly 250 people or so. I didn't expect to see so many middle-aged mums as well. Everyone's starting to sort of wake up and see that this is feeling a lot like a George Orwell novel.
The whole idea of Western culture is a free and open society, a freedom of press, a freedom of expression, a freedom of political opinion. What we're seeing from the Theresa May government, I like to say to Consulate General, shame on Theresa May for putting fascism in England. This behaviour does not represent Western values or Western culture. Tommy Robinson is a truth defender and a true fighter. If it wasn't for Tommy Robinson, England would have been down the tube a long, long time ago. Without freedom of speech, you do not have democracy. You cannot have one without the other. What we see now is England, it's fascism. What that reminds me of is of Adolf Hitler time. It reminds me of Stalin, the Soviet Empire. It reminds me of Mao China. If we don't learn from history, it's going to repeat itself. Have a look at Google, what the definition is breach of peace. That's what they used to shut him up. Typical example. I just encourage you to have a look at it. What we've seen Tommy Robinson, every day he's in prison, he's in danger of losing his life. What we're asking the Consulate General, put pressure on Theresa May, put the pressure on your Tories, put your pressure on your establishment media, and let Tommy Robinson go. If Tommy Robinson loses his life in jail, I will hold Theresa May and the English establishment accountable for the loss of his life. Anyone that stands up to Islam and goes to jail, especially in Europe or England, they're going to lose their life. Every day Tommy's in jail, I worry for him. So we've got to keep this activism up until he's released. We're going to keep this campaign, we're going to keep it going and going. Free Tommy! Free Tommy! Free Tommy! Free Tommy! Free Tommy! We want democracy and freedom of speech, and what we're seeing in Europe, we don't see that anymore. This is typical 1930s post-World War II, what we're seeing in Europe today. Central Europe and Western Europe is lost if the constituents of those nations do not stand up. The last native Europeans will be the Eastern Europeans. You got the Hungarians, you got the Czechs, you got the Poles, you got the Russians. They say we're not going to tolerate this cultural Marxism. It's a failed ideology. Marxism is a failed ideology. National Socialism is a failed ideology. Communism is a failed ideology. And socialism is a failed ideology. It does not work. It imposes restrictions on your freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and political opinion. What we want now? Free Tommy! Free Tommy! Free Tommy! Free Tommy! Free Tommy now! Free Tommy now! Tommy Robinson is a political prisoner of England. What we see here, this just reminds me of, as I said, 1930s Germany, or you see, after World War II, you see the Soviet Union. This is what reminds me of. The press has a gag order. It's the same thing the prisons, right? I call that the modern day gulag. That's what the prisons are today. We're going to keep this campaign going on, and we're going to be a royal pain to the Consulate General until Tommy Robinson is released. We've got nearly 200 nationalities that make Australia home. The only way we're going to survive as a nation is to stay united as one culture, one people, one country, one flag. That's how we're going to survive as a civilization. We've seen now that they are desperate to shut down anybody who speaks out against their failed program. We have Muslims building mosques, practicing Sharia law. They have Sharia law courts, breaking English laws left, right and centre. But they don't care about any of that. Tommy has been caught filming outside a courthouse where they had a number of Muslims in court for running grooming gangs. Now these grooming gangs have been almost exclusively Muslims, and they have exclusively attacked and targeted white girls, vulnerable English girls. But are the English government concerned about that? They couldn't care less. What they're interested is shutting up anyone that starts blowing the whistle about this sad state of affairs. Now we're here to support Tommy and let these scumbags know that this is totally unacceptable. The only difference between Australia and England is that England is further down the road of cultural suicide than Australia is. That's where England is going, straight down the tube. Tommy Robinson was arrested outside the courthouse. He's been thrown in jail. He's been thrown in jail before with violent Muslims who want him dead. He was bashed in prison before, and goodness knows what will happen to him this time. That is why we are here.
What do you think about someone, Tommy Robinson, who was on a suspended sentence for covering as a journalist the grooming gangs in the UK, Muslim grooming gangs? Many people, dozens of people were on these trials at the time, and then as he was covering it as a journalist, the police just grabbed him, arrested him, put him in jail for 13 months, and they put a complete media ban in the UK reporting it. So a big reason why these people are here is because it can't be reported in the UK. What do you think about that?
I do think that's wrong.
That's why they.
No, but it's not. They're also shouting Aussie, Aussie, Aussie too, aren't they?
Yeah. Well,
so there's another
they are
aspect to it.
nationalists.
Well, that's what I'm against. Okay, I'm not against.
You don't like nations. You want everyone to be like a global citizen.
I
You said that. Yeah, like what is Australia? It's a mixture of cultures.
Yeah, and
but
religions.
it's not exactly. It's not necessarily. What an important thing is that you have one legal system, one system of laws, and what's happened in the UK is Sharia law has come in and completely changed things, so it's like you're living under two legal systems.
Have you been to the UK lately?
No, I haven't been lately. I've been about 5 years ago.
I'd hate to say this to you, but Sharia law isn't taking over in the UK.
No, it's not.
No,
it is.
And I know it is. But I know it isn't. I know it isn't.
It's not reported on about these things.
Sharia law is not taking over in the UK, believe me. Okay, it isn't. Maybe it is in.
How do you know that?
In isolated sections.
Exactly. There you go. You were saying about the media gag. Did you say that?
Yeah, I don't like the media gag a lot. I read the thing, like the reason the judge issued it, he was like saying it's prejudice if it's being reported. Like people might get like some presupposition before the trial and stuff. And I feel like that's really weird because it's basically saying even just reporting it, just saying the facts is going to affect people's decision. That's just how, sounds really bad if you think about it.
So it's kind of like, yeah, you can't really report on it. I can't remember that ever happening before.
Yeah.
It's such a high profile figure, I guess.
Yeah, like that's yeah.